Hello, juniors. Welcome to English 11. This is your introduction to Module 1. So these are the assignments that we're going to be doing this week. Let me go to the next slide. So what are we doing? Well, we're getting acquainted. Acquaint means it's a verb. It's an action word. It means to make yourself aware or familiar with. So our aim this week is twofold. We're going to become acquainted with each other through our writing, through Flipgrid, through discussion. And we're also going to become acquainted with the digital tools that we're going to be using during this distance learning time. As juniors, you have had experience with some, if not all of these tools. So this week, it's just going to be about practicing, getting used to them, so that the following week we can hit the road, get started on our work, and then we won't have to spend any time reviewing anything, okay? One thing I do want you to know is, we've got 4 things we're going to do this year. We're going to read critically. We're going to write consciously. That means thoughtfully. We're going to speak what we've been thinking, what we've been writing about, and we're going to tell our truth. Those are kind of the 4 big things that I want us to work on this year. So let's just do this, right? Okay, so our target for this week, utilize and familiarize the digital tools we're going to be using. You may recognize some of those. The ones you can't see behind there are Flipgrid, which you probably have used before. In fact, you're going to use that to introduce yourself to the class. You're going to be describing your reading identity. Who are you as a reader? I'd like you to write that out in your reader's notebook. I've got a video on how specifically to do that. Part of your materials list, you can get a composition book like this. You can get a subject notebook like this. If you want to get super fancy, you can get these kinds of notebooks, whatever you choose. But you need to have 2, one for reader's notebook, one for a writer's notebook. So when we do any kind of reading and I ask you to jot down your thoughts, that's going in your reader's notebook. The writer's notebook is where we're going to practice becoming professional writers, okay? So for that, you're going to be starting in your reader's notebook, and then you're going to be doing a Screencastify video. You're going to be describing your writing identity. Who are you as a writer? And that is in Google Classroom. That's going to be our question of the week. Every week, you're going to have a question that you're going to have to answer, and I'll go over that in a little bit. We're going to be creating some community agreements. To do that, first you're going to go into Padlet. I've got a few questions there for you to answer, and there is a video showing you how to use Padlet if you've never done it. I need you to have that done by Thursday, right before the Zoom meeting. Our first Zoom meeting is going to be on Thursday, second period at 9 o'clock. First period at 9 o'clock, second period at 11 o'clock. And part of our time is we're going to be looking at those, your answers, your responses to those, so that we can kind of come up with some rules and some norms so that when we do have our Zoom meetings, we all agree on how we're going to utilize that time to the best of our ability, how we're going to show respect for one another, how we're going to be listening actively to what one another has to say. And the last thing we're going to do is assessing your reading skills. This is just an opportunity for me to know where your reading skills are at. If you're at an 11th grade level, if you're below that, what we need to practice, or if you're above that, what I can do to challenge you to get even better. And you can choose between 2 different tools we're going to use. Common Lit is one, and News ELA is another. So you can take a look at those. So who are you as a reader? Again, that's in Google Classroom. Go under Module 1. There's your materials you're going to need. I've got written or video instructions you can take a look at. And then you're going to choose from one of these 3 texts and write about that along in your reader's notebook as well. For assessing your reading skills, that's also found in Google Classroom, but you can choose one of these two texts. If you go into Google Classroom, I've got the titles of each of the pieces, so you can take a look at that too. You'll be introducing yourself using Flipgrid, the community agreements, like we said, and then the question of the week. So let's go into, here we are in Google Classroom for period 1. When you go into classwork, daily attendance, you'll need to make sure to take fill this out every day for attendance purposes. Then here is our module. And I've listed these in order of their due dates. You'll notice on the right-hand side. So if you click on this, that's going to give you the link to Flipgrid, so you can do that video as well as the instructions. And you may know somebody who's already done a video in there. The next one, who are you as a reader? Click on that. It's going to give you the written and the video instructions, as well as links to the informational text that you get to choose from. The community agreements, you click on that. That's going to take you, there's a link that'll take you to Padlet along with a video showing you how to use Padlet. And again, there's a due date and time, because I like to have you have that filled out before we do our Zoom meeting on Thursday. Question of the week, it's due, so here, let me open it up so I can show you. So here's your question, the question of the week, who are you as a writer? You get assessed using this rubric. So out of a possible 5 points, you can get 5 points if you respond to the question using complex sentence structures with active verbs and precise diction, showing perfect spelling, punctuation, grammar, and if you reply to at least 2 other student responses with a insightful and thoughtful comment. So you're going to leave your response, and then as other people leave their responses, you're going to reply to theirs. In order to get a 5, it's got to be a complete comment. It can't just be one word or a phrase, okay? It's got to be really insightful, really thoughtful. To get a 4 out of 5, you're going to respond to the question with a complete sentence and pretty good, adequate, satisfactory. It works. And then also reply to at least one response with a thoughtful comment. So again, it's got to be a complete sentence, no words or phrases. 3 out of 5, that's responding to the question using just words or phrases, not a complete sentence. And you also reply to at least one other response. A 2, that's if you just respond with words or phrases and you don't reply to anyone else's responses. So by September 3rd, that's Thursday, you need to have your response in, and then I will give you until the following Monday to reply to other people's responses, okay? Usually what I do is I put the question of the week in on Monday and have it due on, I'm trying to think, what did I do in the spring? I think I wanted to, I'll put it in, it'll be there Monday, due on Wednesday, responses or replies to the responses due on Friday. That's what it is. Okay. So it's just because we start school on a Tuesday instead of a Monday, but everything is live in here. So when you get if you get the invitation for Google Classroom, if you want to start before Tuesday, you can. I'm just not saying you have to. And then the last thing is assessing your reading skills. So when you click on here, there are instructions on how to get into Common Lit, as well as instructions on how to get into the News ELA. The Common Lit reading text is an excerpt from a longer essay called Honky. And in News ELA, it's an article called Branding a Presidential Candidate. Something pretty timely. So you just choose. I've set it up through Google Classroom, but if you have problems, let me know. This is the first time we're going to be doing it. I'm pretty sure I did it right, but if something's not right, you got to let me know. Okay. And then underneath this, you'll also see some student resources, the virtual syllabus, the intro video, what our standards are, and this is your materials list, which you'll also find in the syllabus. One other thing I wanted to show you, so this is for English 1, your class codes there. We're not going to use Meet. We are actually going to use Zoom, which if you click on the down arrow, you'll see right there, I've got our Zoom schedule as well as the link. So what you can do is from here on over, you can copy this and then go up into the tabs, paste it, and boom, that'll get you into there. So that is for first period, and then second period, yours is right there as well. Also be looking in your student email because I will also email you an invitation with the link. Just going to ask that you would not share this information because I really don't want anybody joining who's going to be sharing any kind of inappropriate noises, any inappropriate language. Like, let's just be classy about it. Okay. Don't be sharing this stuff out. Also, because I don't really know all of you, I'm going to require that you sign in to Zoom and I will approve letting you in. And I'm going to have to do that based on the attendance form until I get to know you. So I might be a little weary. Okay. So let's just be cool about it. All right. So that is what the work you're going to be doing next week. When you get to this review and reflect, I've got a checklist of all the work you need to do for the week. So just a reminder. And then there's an exit ticket. So once you finish everything, if you're in first period, you can click this one. If you're in second period, you can click that one. When you do that, it's going to take you to an exit ticket that's just going to ask you a couple questions about how you felt this week went. I'm going to ask you how the module was set up. Did that work for you? This is the first time I've done it this way. I did it a completely different way in the spring. And so I'm still trying to work out all the bugs. So I'm going to need your help. Let me know what worked, what didn't work, what might work a little bit better. Okay. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys would help me out with that. And then the last one, this is just some additional resources. So creating a workspace in your home. Since you are going to be working from home. So I've got some tips and tricks there. And then also how to check out a book from my classroom library that you could do for a curbside pickup. So this actually gets you into the library. And this right here, which I realize I haven't made the video yet, but there will be a video in here that shows you how to go in there to take a look at the books that I have. Students, when they've checked them out in the past, when they turn the books back in, they can leave a review. So you might want to read some of those. All right. So that is what we are going to do this week. Again, if you have any questions, just give me a call. Oh, one other thing I forgot to tell you. So right here, you have an option of listening to this TED Talk by Clint Smith. He is kind of an inspiration for me. He is the one that came up with these 4 aims for our classroom. And it's only a 4-minute video. So if you want to kind of get to know a little bit more about my inspiration and why I've set up the class like this, just click here and you can watch that video. If you have any questions, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm excited. We're going to have a great week.